Hey all, this is USCF expert Obliviax. Gorgonian introduced me to this great new site, ChessTempo, and he's been solving problems there and posting his performances on YouTube. And it's been very helpful to him, and my chess has been suffering a lot lately. I think since I have been getting more into poker, it's been my mindset has been there and not on the chess, so I definitely need something to help me come back up to speed. So I figured I'd do some of these problems, much in the style of Gorgonian's videos, and see where it takes me. I'm not sure what value this will have because I tend to either see the answer correctly right away, or I see the wrong answer right away and just enter the wrong move and not see why I'm getting it wrong. So hopefully in watching the replays I'll learn something. Maybe you can get some entertainment value out of this. We'll see. Here goes. So these are blitz problems. I understand they're on a timer, and the longer I take, the lower the rating I will get. So if I get them right, I get fewer points if I take longer. Here goes. So I'm usually a 1-minute chess player, so I'm either going to play the wrong move or the right move right away. So, I have to wait for it to play first. So that knight has no moves from what I see, so I'm looking at g5 immediately. I'm looking at d4. I'm looking at knight takes b4 followed by d4. Let's see here. So g5 is bad because knight h5 check gets the knight out of there, but he's very cramped. And I'm not seeing this right away, so this is actually a pretty challenging first problem for me. Okay, so the queen is very out of place. I'm looking at d4, pawn takes, bishop takes, then queen a3 is the only move. And then I pick up the rook. Okay, that took me far too long to see. I got 108 points, but ratings change quickly when you're first starting out, and then they slow down. Next problem. So what's going on here? Whose move is it? Again, I have to wait for the computer to move, but my queen is gone. This is just knight check, rook has to take, and then a back ranker. So in the last few moves, if this was from a real game, white probably sacrificed his queen to set up this tactic. So I'm up to 1670. I don't know how long I took on that. I forgot to look. So waiting for one of these players to move. Okay, so white is down material and has to find compensation. It would be really interesting if queen takes... Oh yeah, this is an easy tactic. The king is smothered. Okay, up to 1754. Next problem. This is a mess of a position. Black is very open. See some possible discoveries. Is there a threat to taking that rook? I want to take it with the knight because that will stop Black's queen from getting in with check. I'm going to do this. This is just the obvious. Okay, I guess that was the right answer. Sometimes these don't end in mate or devastating moves. They just pick up pieces and win games. See, so white is uncastled here. Black plays a very hemming in move. So what's interesting about this? Black's king is smothered due to the queen covering the d-file. So it looks like a3 is just gonna... okay, let's see. Well, I got this one wrong. So a3 was correct, but I didn't get the proper response. It said bishop d2, then queen f5. Oh, I played knight d4. That would have allowed queen e5 check, and then white's king would have to move, followed by rook takes d4 check, and white would be dead. So next problem, I fail. It took me 27 seconds to fail. So this looks like some back ranker themes going on. Let's see. Queen is on pre. Oh, okay, so that rook on a5 is defended, but once I take it, he can't take back because he's going to get mated by the double rook battery on g7 and g8. Well, we have We have mate and 2 here. Oh, we don't. What's going on? I was thinking queen g4 plus. Oh, this is mate 2, and it still marked me wrong. I was going to say, let's see, queen g5 plus. Oh, that's not mate. I was thinking king h3 was forced, but actually king f3 escapes. So 6 seconds to fail once again. White's down material here. Okay, white picked up the rook, so black needs a devastating move. We have queen check on g2 and h3. Now the rook is defended, so there's not likely to be a forking check that picks up the rook. So queen check. Gosh, this is one of those positions where I wouldn't think there's a win, maybe just a draw. I'm really not seeing this. So let's see what the answer was. Oh, figures. Yeah, okay, so queen d1 check, rook blocks, then queen d3. And how are we picking up this piece? Okay, this one was quite involved. Knight f3. Okay, we're picking up the rook. Well, I think my problem there was I assumed it would be a shallow solution, and it was actually a lengthy one. So I'll have to watch out for that in the past. Sometimes these do require some thoughts despite being blitz problems. We have 2 kings in the center. Well, my first instinct is to play king g3. And that very well may pick up a knight, because I think the only response, the only way to stop rook h5 mate would be to play knight e2 check. In which case, I take a knight for free with king takes knight. Then he'd have knight d4 check. Material would be even. I'd be playing king e4. Anyway, maybe I should just play the mate on move. That took too long. I'm really bad at this. Well, that's curious that that pawn just went backwards. What's black's move? He doesn't have to be too concerned about that pawn promoting, because rook h8 check is going to skewer the king to the queen. However, well, let me think about this a moment. Obviously, rook takes pawn is a draw. I don't see anything other than taking this pawn. Let's see, it says king g3. Oh, okay. Very good. So he defends his pawn, and then he's just going to win with the extra pawn. My rating currently is 1677. I took 48 seconds to get that problem wrong. Now that knight can just be taken for free because the bishop takes h7 check, revealing the queen's defense of the d4 square. White's missing a queen but has a lot of material. Queen f4 check wins the bishop on f1. What else is there? And the rook on h3. Okay, I think a couple more problems and then I'll close this out. Well, there is just queen takes knight here. If the pawn takes back, then the bishop is going to take the queen on c7. Then after these exchanges, the bishop on a6 is hanging, so this just looks good. Let's do two more problems. h6 is an obvious advantage. Well, white has to watch out for if he played h6, then knight check would win white's queen on f6. So what can he do? The queen check. Oh, here we go. So the pawn forces the king into a square where it can't escape. Last problem. Okay, well there's one pawn guarding both of these knights, so usually there's a tactic there such as knight takes knight, the pawn takes back, and then you take the other knight, but in this case the rook on f8 is guarding f4, and the bishop on g7 is guarding e4. I wonder if we can do something like rook takes f4 followed by something like c3. Okay, I was wrong. So knight takes d4. That's the right move. Pawn takes. Now rook takes f4. Okay, the pawn on e4 is pinned to the queen, so I overlooked this. And white is up a rook. So that's it for the session. I didn't fare too well. I wish it gave me an average of how long I took per move. Let's see. Problem Blitz rating 1843.1. Blitz average seconds 52.8. I think it's a little slower than I'd normally take, maybe a lot slower than I'd normally take because 1 minute is an entire game. Blitz attempts 113. It must be counting all the in-between moves that it plays for me because I certainly didn't do 113 problems. My success rate is barely over half, 61%. So I need work.